Shalom and welcome to this evening's Torah class. We apologize for the bit of a delay, but thankfully we are streaming and you are joining us for another delightful teaching. Word from Yahweh, please join us for the Torah Parashat Vayetze, that is in Genesis chapter 28, verse 10 through chapter 32, verse 3. And we do have other scripture readings that go along with the Torah Parsha, and I can show you where to find those. Just give me a second here. Here's our website, tzion.org. And when you get to our website, you can just click on the calendars, Torah schedule, and then we have our updated weekly Torah Parsha. And we have it all the way through, I believe. Through Passover. At the end of Passover. So that's something to look forward to. And that way you can study ahead. And then join us with those questions. We love to have those questions. Rabbi especially loves the hard questions. So let me get back here. You can email those questions to asktherabbi@tzion.org. He'd love to hear from you. Okay? We will begin our broadcast here shortly. Please stand by. Unmute.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm so used to doing this on Shabbat. But Shalom and welcome to tonight's Torah class. We're going to be starting in Genesis chapter 28 and in verse 10. So let's have a moment of prayer before we begin. If you can follow me on the camera, I'm going to rise for the prayer. Avinu Shabbat, our Father who is in the heavens, we are thankful to you for your Torah, for your instructions that you've left for us to follow. We thank you for all of the patriarchs who've gone before, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We certainly appreciate Moses, your prophet, your servant. And we ask you, Lord, that you would allow us to be your voice here and to be your teacher. We ask you to teach us, Lord, because there is no other teacher besides you. You are the great and almighty teacher. So we ask you to impart unto us your truth as we study. Help our hearts and minds to grab a hold of what we are reading and understand it in the sense and the way that you want us to understand it. So we offer our hearts to you, our souls to you for this time of worship, and we ask you, Lord, for your victory and for your understanding as we read. Everybody say this. Lord, I'm hungry.
Lord, I'm hungry.
I ask you to feed me.
I ask you to feed me.
I ask you to satisfy the hunger of my soul.
I ask you to satisfy the hunger of my soul.
And I'm thirsty, Lord.
And I'm thirsty, Lord.
Give us living water.
Give us living water.
Wash us inside and out
Wash us inside and out.
so we can be your servants.
So we can be your servants.
And we thank you for it.
And we thank you for
In the name of Messiah Yeshua.
it. In the name of Messiah Yeshua.
Amen. Baruch Hashem. Well, it looks like that our online presence is starting to grow. We certainly needed it to. And I certainly would like to see some fruit from that ministry. We've been doing it for, I don't know how many years now, but it's been a long time. And it's just now starting to really take off, and I'm thankful to God for that. He's the one who gives the increase. We sow the seeds, but he brings the rain and the increase. Tonight's Torah Parashat is from the life of Yaakov. And this is going to be a very interesting study because it's talking about the relationship of Yaakov to Lavan. Lavan was the brother of Rivka. Rivka was his first choice of wife, but because Lavan was not necessarily ethical, he ripped off the 7 years of labor that Yaakov did to make payment for his dowry payment for his wife, of Rebecca.
Rachel, wasn't it? Rachel?
Was it Rachel?
Yeah. It's Rachel and Leah.
Rachel and Leah. I'm sorry, yeah. So it's Rachel is the one he had paid 7 years for. So anyway, sometimes I get Rachel and Rebecca mixed up. I apologize for that.
You'll get picked on by Rachel and Rebecca.
Oh, the Rebecca police will come and arrest me. So, hallelujah. Verse 10 begins, Vayetze Yaakov mi Beer-sheva, Vayelech Harana. Now, a couple of little Hebrew lessons here for those of you who have been studying Hebrew with me. You'll know that when you see a pronoun with the feminine ending on it, this is a proper noun here. And so it's if it's got the ah sound on the end, which I've got highlighted for you, then that means that the direction of journey for the players in the story are headed toward Haran. So the feminine ending indicates that they're being drawn to her. If it's masculine ending, then they will be moving, generally speaking, away from that proper noun. Vayetze means literally to send out or to depart. Yaakov was in the mountains there where Beersheba was. His father Abraham had dug wells up there in those areas, and one of them is called Beersheba. And the Beersheba was a well of oath, where he made a pact with, I believe it was with Abimelech, and that Abimelech's servants were filling up the wells as fast as they could dig them, and so finally he had a covenant meeting with Abimelech that was over the issue of the wells. And so they swore to each other they wouldn't interfere with the wells anymore. And so we see here at the end of verse 10, Yaakov is departing for. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be yawning, but right now my brain is just kind of like in the rakia. and it's like you almost have to be in a sleepy state to get there. And I'm sitting there just remembering and seeing all this like a vision. It's very wild when that happens to you. But anyway, he left from Beersheba and was heading towards Haranah. Haranah indicates he's going towards it. Verse 11. Vayifga, it means he came upon, or lighted on, as it's translated here, lighted on a bamakom. Now, let me just show you this. I don't know if I've talked about this before, but if I have, I can be corrected. It's all right. Bamakom. Ba means in thee. In English, it'll be in thee. And makom means, it's the word, Hebrew word for place. In the place. So it's not just any old place, but it's in a specific one. He landed upon this place, Vayalin, and that means literally he spent the night there. Lun, to stop, usually overnight. By implication, to stay permanently, hence in a bad sense, to be obstinate, especially in words to complain.
So he was a loony.
Yeah. Vayalin, and he spent the night, Sham, in there. Ki means because, Ba, Hashemesh, the Shemesh is sun, and it has come. Vayikach, and he took Me Avane. Avane is, Avan means stone, and this is plural, and it shows the stones of something. And it's of Hamakom, so it's the stones of the place. Vayasam, and he put them, Marashotav, the root here is Rosh. They put them for his pillows, plural. He put them, which is Evaneh, the stones of the place, put them for his pillows. This is so interesting here because in Hebrew, there is something in the story that wasn't translated into English. First of all, the stones of that place, he put them for his pillows, plural, but Vayish Kav, and he lied down, Vayish Kav, Bamakom, in the place, Hahu, means that specific place is where he laid down. And then in the next verse, Vayahalom, and he dreamed, and behold, Sulam, a ladder, is set up on the eretz, on the earth. Mutzav is basically it's an established. Let me just look this mutzav off because there's another word that I remember that means to erect or to set up, and it means literally mutzav to station. In various applications, literally or figuratively. So, natzav is a word that another alternate form of it means to stand upright. But here's this ladder, and it's standing upright. But kum means to erect. It is like a pillar. Would set it upright. And so anyway, he set up the ladder was set up on the earth, and the rosho, his top, magia, reached up unto hashamayim. Now the ending on the end of that, what does that mean? We just talked about it. Anybody?
Feminine?
Huh?
Feminine?
It's a feminine ending, and what does that tell us? The top was heading up into the heavens.
Not away, but to.
Yeah. The top of it reached or stretched up towards heavens. Vayhine, and behold, Malachi, the angels of Elohim, of God, Olim. Olah means to go up. Olim are ascending. Vayordim, and descending. Bo means on him or in him. So God's angels were going up and down on this thing. And this was part of his dream. He saw this ladder extending all the way from the earth heavenwards to the point that you couldn't see the end of it, I suppose. And the angels were ascending and descending on it. That's so cool. Then we go to the next verse, and behold, Yahweh nitzav. See, that's where I was telling you an alternate form of that word was to stand. Well, there's nitzav, where Yahweh was standing, alav, above him, of the ladder. And he said, Ani Yahweh Elohei Abraham. I am Yahweh, the God, Abraham's God, your father. And Velohei, and the God of Yitzhak. Haaretz, the land, Ashir Ata Shokev, the land which you are upon which you're lying thereon, to you, Lekha etnena. That's the word that's a form of it that means literally to give. I give. Here's the I part of the word. That's the aleph. I tenena. I give it. I give it to you and to Zaraka. Zara is your children, your offspring, your seed. And verse 14 says, and Vayhaya, and shall be Zaraka, your seed, ki afar, like the dust, ha'eretz, the dust of the earth. Can you imagine counting the little particles of dust?
I quit.
Not even in your house, let alone out in the yard. That's amazing. Well, of course, a lot of the stuff out in the yard is the pollens and stuff that fly through the air, and the breaking down of the particles of wood from trees and for grasses. That's all a part of the dust of the earth. And then it says, ufartsata, fartsata, and you will spread abroad. You will be spread. You know, dust can be blown easily by the wind. And you will spread to the Yama, to the to the sea, the Mediterranean Sea specifically, and to Kedemah, the east. That's the direction that the sun rises in. Ud Tzipona. Tzipona means literally the north, the northern regions. Ve Negava. Negev means literally the south. So all of these things, you're going to be going in just virtually every direction. All of your seed are just going to scatter around the world. And then it says, Un Barachu. Now, this is the word, root is Barak. Okay? We've got the nun in front of it. Do you know what that means? I've told you this before, but you may not remember it.
It's
What
past tense.
No, it's actually a form of the word that indicates a general form of the word, not specific. It's not like a specific blessing, but generally speaking, you will be a blessing in you. And that's all of the families, mishpachot, families, all of the families, ha'adamah, of the earth. And of course we see here that ha'adamah is a feminine ending. Interesting. Ba zaracha. So zaracha means literally in the seed and in your seed. So your seed and you are going to be a blessing to the entirety of all the families of the earth. It's pretty cool, isn't it? Then we go to the verse 15, and behold, Anochi, I, that's the proper form of the word I. Ani would be the more casual form of the word, but Anochi means literally the proper form of the word. It's kind of like the Queen of England would use if she were to be speaking to her people, and she would say I, but she might say instead we, because she represents the people. And then Anochi imacha, I am with you. Behold, I am with you. Ushmartika, what does the word shmar mean? You should remember that one. Shema.
Oh, bless.
But
To hear. Oh, to hear.
Well, shema means
yeah,
here.
that's- hear is
Shmar.
Israel, that's right.
What are we supposed to shmar?
To guard.
Guard and keep. The what? Commandments?
Yes.
Yeah. The Sabbath day, we're supposed to shemar the Sabbath day and all the mitzvotav of the Bible. B'kol, in every which telech, which you journey or go. V'hashivotika, and will bring you again. Shavua is the root, and it means to return. There, I'm getting it lit up right. So you will be, now this is causative here on the front of it. The hey, that's normally translated the, but that doesn't work with a verb, because you don't put the in front of a verb. Well, I guess you could, in the return. We'll try that and see how it looks. Vahashivotika, in your returning. Into this land. So as you go forth from this land, you'll become a blessing. And as you return, in the returning of you to this land, you'll be blessed. So the works okay in the front of the verb. And it says this land is the land that we're talking about here, because God intends for Yaakov to be blessed. Because lo ezavka, I will not leave you. I will not leave you. Here's the I in the front of it. Here's the U at the end of it. And so you can see here, this is Ezav. Ezav. To loosen, to relinquish, or permit. He will not permit Yaakov and his descendants to be forsaken. I will not leave you. Ad asher im, until which, if I have done or made that which my word is unto you. So he's saying, until my word is accomplished in you, I'm not going to leave you or forsake you. Isn't that cool? Verse 16, Vayikatz, and awoke Yaakov. We got, Mikatz is one of the Torah Parshas we read with Pharaoh, where he was at the end of his dream. And so anyway, here, Vayikatz, and Jacob awoke, Mishnato, out of his sleep. Vayomer, and he said, surely Yesh Yahweh Bamakom. There is Yahweh in this place. And here's the word for Zeh, means this. And I, Anochi again is the formal phraseology for the word I, did not know it. God is in this place and did not know it. And he was afraid, and he said, Ma no ra. Remember Nora? The word Nora?
Fear. Afraid.
Well, it really has more of a fearful intonation about it. But let's see. Mika Moka Beilim Adonai. Mika Moka Nedar. Nedar Bakodesh. Nora. Tehilot. Osefele. Means literally awesome or amazing or intensely frightening. It's translated dreadful there. That's pretty close. Let's see what we've got in here. Yare means literally to fear. To fear. So, yeah, that's dreadful. And that's what it means in that prayer, too. Nora tehilot osei pele. Okay, so this place, Hamakom Hazeh, this place, Ein Zeh. It's not like anywhere else. This place is not like anywhere else. But the house of Elohim. This has got to be the house of Elohim. And this is Sha'ar HaShamayim, the gate to heaven. I hope I can get all this to light up here, but it's not looking much like it, is it? I'll try it the other direction. There we go. I got it to all light up. Ashar means the gate, Hashemayim of heavens. Now, we'll continue on down here. Vayashkem, Yaakov. Jacob rose up early, and Baboker, Vayikach, and he took. Now watch this. How many stones did he set up before?
Well, my book says one. It just said stone the whole time.
But in the Eboneh means plural. Means plural.
Taking one of the stones of the place and put it under his head and lay down there.
Okay, let's go back up and look at that. We can tell by the
That's what
context.
mine says. It doesn't say he slept on a bunch of stones. He just took one stone they got pillows.
I'm going to go back up and see what it says up here in
How are they
Hebrew.
gonna sleep on pillows?
Okay, he came upon a certain place, and he tarried there because Ba Hashemen, the sun was set, and he took May Avnei. Okay, that looks more like of the stones of that place. He took from the stones of that place, but it doesn't say how many he took. And put Marishtav Vayasam, and he put Marashtav for pillows. Let me see here.
Contradicts.
Some say it was 12.
Really?
A headpiece. Huh?
Is it Psalms?
A headpiece?
What? Where's that at?
Okay.
Another.
I will tell you that the rabbis have long discussions over these things.
Yeah.
His pillow.
So it wasn't one rock like it says here in line as well?
I'm sorry again.
It's not one rock you put underneath his
One
head?
stone of the place, put it under his head.
You put multiples? Is what you're saying? Or what that's saying, I guess. Because my Bible, this Bible here, and mine at home, and hers, says a stone, singular. Yours would seem to appear to make it plural. Yeah, he got a stone from the stones. Got a rock from the stones.
And he took from stones of that place,
Right.
Vayasham, and he put Marushtav.
Them for his pillows, huh?
Marashtav. Okay, Roshtav. Shotav. Yeah. Anyway, let me look that one up in my Olive Tree Bible and see if there's possibly a rule of grammar that I don't know about. I will admit to you that I don't know all the rules of grammar, but I'm trying hard to learn them. Okay, so we want to get into the Hebrew study. Okay, where is my Hebrew Bible studies, free downloads?
I think it's over to the left where you keep your books.
Oh,
I think that looks like the store.
yeah, BHS parts. That's what I want.
Yeah.
And we're going to go to Genesis, and we're going to chapter 20. What is that? 25? 25?
No, 28.
28. And it's verse
11 when he came to a certain place. 11.
verse 11. Now I'm going to zoom in on this puppy.
Oh my.
Vayifga bamakom vayalen shem ki ba shamesh vayikach me avnei hamakom. That should be just from the stones. It's going to be feminine plural construct. Hebrew. Let me get back over here. So, it's a Hebrew noun, common, feminine, plural from the stones of, construct of that place.
Oh, wow.
What?
Okay.
You didn't know I had this tool, did you?
So that means,
It still says that he constructed the stone. It didn't say he constructed stones.
Uh-huh.
so in other words, we have an argument for it was a single stone, and then we have an argument for plural stones.
Oh, but this is from the stones of that place. He took from the stones of the place, but
Well,
it
what did he
doesn't.
take? One
Here
stone
it
or
doesn't
12?
tell us how many he took.
Okay.
Let's continue. Gosh. Okay, hold on just a second. Hamakam. Avane. He took from the stones of that place.
Right.
Vayasham, and he placed them, or placed. Okay, this one. Let's look at this one. Let's see. Placed. It is singular. See here?
Mm-hmm.
It is singular.
So it is one rock.
Apparently so. Interesting. Because I've heard rabbinic discussions on this that go crazy. Well, they took all the stones that he laid down for his head and he piled them up and they became one stone.
That didn't make any sense to me. So I was like, oh, wait a second. Okay,
I'm sorry?
12 stones?
Yeah, that's what they tell you is that there was 12 stones that he set up. But they became one.
I don't see where they get that, but sure.
I don't see it in the Hebrew.
I guess they can dream.
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 Okay, and then it says, let's see, I was supposed to be up in verse 11 here. Vayiga b'makam vayelem sham ki ba hashemesh vayikach, and he took me avnei of the stones of hamakom, that place, vayasham, and he put mara ashotav, that's for his head. Now this is really funny because here we have mara ashotav, from his head. I don't know how to put that mem in that noun. From his head.
His head from.
Yeah. Okay, sometimes Hebrew's a little tough to translate. I have to admit that. Vayishkav. Bamakom hahu. Excuse me.
That good.
That was my dinner. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was that good.
Oh, yeah, they were really good. Let me go back over to the other version and now see what Yishkav means. Vayishkav. Shikav means literally to lie down, to sleep. Bamakom hahu, in that place. So he dreamed, and there was a ladder set up on it, reached from the earth up to heaven, And behold, the angels of God ascending and descending on it. And behold, the Lord stood above it, alav. Al means literally on, like my coffee cup here is on the table, right? And so when it says nitzav, stood alav, on it, above it would be another understanding of that. Vayomer ani Yahweh, and he said, I am Yahweh Elohei Abraham, the God of Abraham. Elohei is a plural form. I'm the gods of Abraham, because it is a plural form. Let me just go over here and take a look at this.
Sure.
It's from Elohim, means gods. All right, I'm going to have to go back to my other little tool again. And we'll
13.
get it blown up here where we can see it. And trying to see where it says Yahweh was standing on it.
13.
Is it 13?
Mhm.
Okay, let me go back up a little.
Yahweh stood over and.
Here we go. Hine Yahweh Nitzav, he's standing alav, on him. Him is the rocks or rock that he apparently put down for his pillow. But I can see why the rabbis would argue over this point. But
It's almost like someone that's laying down and someone else comes and is looking down at the person. It's like God was looking down, upon him while he was resting.
right. Let's see here.
Got a bit of a problem. I can't see that screen because you're maxed out on the Zoom.
The what?
Bring it up again.
Oh, there?
There it is. That's what I wanted to show.
I have no room to
Right here. So if you look, this is a Hebrew noun, common, masculine, plural, construct. And so it's going to have the of in the word. That Elohim would be for the masculine, plural, construct form of it would be Elohei. So it would end with the word of as the construct part of the word. So the Elohei would be understood to be the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov. Okay.
That makes sense.
So here is the God of Abraham and Isaac, the grandfather and the father of Yaakov. So we'll go back over. Well, this one tells me the masculine plural forms of the thing here. Maybe that's from the other program, though.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it was from the other program. But Strong's is short on that end of the stick. It doesn't always tell you the forms of the tenses and conjugations of verbs, but the other program does. So I have to switch to the other one to see what that exact conjugation would look like, So anyway, nice to have these tools. People think, well, you only have one Hebrew tool. No, I don't need more than one. Actually, I got two. Actually, I've got a bunch more than that. I even have a book called, let's see,
English, Hebrew.
the Hebrew, Aramaic, grammar tools. And I can actually look more deeply into any component of a word to see what part of it means what. So that's real cool too. But then I've got other training that I received where we talk about the conjugations and how to spot different forms of the conjugations. But my brain wasn't big enough at the time to hold it all, so I have to go back and look it up periodically so I can try to refresh my memory. I guess I got a memory shortage in my head somehow. Oh, well, I'm just not as young as you used to be. Back when I was learning grammar in high school, my brain was always running out of memory, but I was able to hold on to a whole lot more of it than I can seem to these days. Oh, well. So he says, Ani Yahweh Elohei Avraham. Now, this is the less proper form of the word I. And I'm not sure about the changes in the use of it. That would probably be somewhere in my Yale Hebrew study lessons, where they talk about the various forms and conjugations and why they use certain words in certain positions instead of other words. So when it's in the Bible particularly, they've got an excellent program for helping you to understand biblical Hebrew. Did you say Yale? Yale, yes. Oh. It's a book published by Yale. Wow. I've got it in my library. In a box somewhere in storage, probably. I've got too many resources and not enough places for them. So anyway, he says, Ani Yahweh Elohei Avraham Avika, your father, and it's actually his grandfather. Velohei Yitzhak ha'aretz, the land, asher atah, where you, shachev, where you rested or sleeping on. Aliyah, now it's on her. The Adamah is her. To you, et na, I will give. And to Zaraka, your seed. Okay? And then it says, and your seed shall become, ki means as, or become as, the dust of the earth. Fartsta. That's hard for an English speaking person to pronounce. Fartstat. Tot. Ta. Tsata. Faratsta. There you go. I said it. Wow. Thank you, Lord. Ufaratsta. And you will spread Yama to the west, Kedem to the east, Zaphonah to the north, and Negva to the south. And all of these have this feminine ending on it. You see that? There, 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 and there. And so all of these are the direction which the dust will scatter to. The dust is what's scattering. The dust is actually a picture of the sons of Yaakov. And all kol hamishpachot, kol hamishpachot, all of the families, hadamah, of the earth, uv zaracha, and in your feet are going to be blessed in you and in your seed, is the understanding here. And behold, Anochi, there's the proper form of the I again. Imka, I am with you. Ushmartika, Shamar is the root, and it means literally to guard or protect. I will guard and protect you. I will guard and protect you.
I'll follow.
In all, in every which telek you go, everywhere that you go. Telek is the shorish would be halak, to walk or go. Telek would be an alternate form of that. The hashbotika, and I will bring you again, and that's from the Shavua. Shuvotika, I will bring you again unto the land, Hazot, this land, because not ezavka, I will not leave you until which, up until which, if I have done. That's a string of words. That which I have spoken unto you. It's a very powerful statement that Yahweh is making. And only Yahweh could make a statement like that. Who could say, I'm going to make you become the blessing for all the families of the earth, and then have the ability to make that happen? Well, only God can do that. So, and he says, surely Yahweh is in this place, and I didn't know it. Yadati, I did not know. Was this good?
Yeah.
So he was afraid, and he said, how dreadful is this place? We talked about all this already. Ein Zeh. There's no place like this. Ki'im Beit Elohim and Zeh, but the house of God, and this is Sha'ar Shamayim, the gate of heaven. Now, we've got a song that we do, Sha'arei Tzedek. And how does it start off? Yeah. Right. And it talks about Sha'arei Tzedek. Sha'arei Tzedek. And there's a Bible verse that says, Odei Yah, thank God, Sha'arei Tzedek. He's... What? I'm sorry?
There's another song by Ted Pierce.
Oh, it's a Ted Pierce song, right. Okay. But anyway, so Sha'arei Tzedek is the gate of heaven. So he said, this has got to be the gate of heaven here. Vayashken, and he rose up early, Yaakov did, Baboker, in the morning. Vayichach et ha'eben, the stone, Asher Sham. Now, I think that that's a problem with some of the rabbi teachers with a little bit of a short memory lapse. Or they weren't reading it in Hebrew. No, I can't say that. I don't want to go there. Because then somebody will come up and prove me wrong, okay?
What are you trying to say?
Well, I agree with the translations that seem to say that it was one stone that he put for his head. He selected a stone from that place and used it for his pillow.
Right.
And then he set it up vertical, and that became a marker stone for that place.
Yeah.
He says, he rose up early in the morning and took. You can tell by this translation that they are a little more likely inclined to be along the traditional rabbinic view of this, because they're saying that he placed stones there, and then here it says he took the one for his head and set it up vertically. And would you please move that out of your mother's way so she doesn't get a black and blue mark on her forehead? That thing's beating you in the face, girl. Okay, so Jacob rose up early in the morning, and he took the stone that he had placed for his head, and he set it up as a pillow for his a memorial stone. I'm going to go to the English translation, and we'll see if we can. And I just locked up my computer. That's all right.
Oh no.
We're really getting close to the end of the time that we normally are having lately anyway. But to me, this story is really amazing. I've had visions similar to this. Hey, it unfroze. Thank you, Lord.
Yay, hallelujah.
And anyway, I've had visions similar to this, not this particular one. And there it went away. So anyway, not this particular vision, like Yaakov had. But there are many of the stories where they dreamed a dream, and I have dreamed those kinds of visions. And it was even before I had completely read the Bible all the way through. And then I come back years later and read these stories, and I'm going, wow, I had that vision when I was a kid. You know, and hadn't even read that in the Bible yet. So that's pretty cool. Got me a little bit startled there when I first saw that.
Deja vu.
I'm sorry?
Deja vu.
Right. So I'm going to go ahead and switch this to the Complete Jewish Bible. And let me scroll down here a ways. He says, I will bring you back to this land because I won't leave you until I have done what I have promised you. And of course, he's just brought him back from Lavan's place with his wives and his children. Yaakov woke from his sleep and said, truly Yahweh is in this place, and I didn't know it. Then he became afraid, and he said, this place is fearsome. This has to be the house of God. This is the gate of heaven. Yaakov got up early in the morning and took the stone that he had put under his head and set it up as a standing, there we are, set it up as a standing stone, poured olive oil on its top, and named the place Bethel, house of God. But the town had originally been called Luz, which means almond trees, I believe, or hazelnut trees, something of that nature. Okay.
We hear our almond trees.
Let me see if I can scroll down this way.
Can we get an almond breeze?
I know a lot of stories in the Bible about almond trees. I know a modern song, almond tree, very love. No, it's lemon tree. Excuse me. Wrong song. So much for that one. Okay, verse 21, so that I will return to my father's house in peace, and then Yahweh will be my God. That's amazing, isn't it?
Yes.
And then we go to chapter 29. Continuing his journey, Jacob came to the land of the people of the east, and he saw a well in a field, and there were 3 flocks of sheep lying there next to it, because they watered their sheep from the well. The stone on the well's mouth was large, and only when all the flocks had gathered would they roll the stone away from the opening of the well and watered the sheep, and then they would put the stone back in its place on the well's opening. Okay, where are we at here? I'll just leave it this scale. Can you scale me up on there?
Yes.
Yaakov said to them, my brothers, where are you from? And they answered, we are from Haran. And he asked them, do you know Lavan, the grandson of Nahor? And they said, we do. He asked them, are things going well with him? Yes, they answered, and here comes his daughter Rachel, with the sheep. And he said, look, there's still plenty of daylight time left, and it isn't time to bring the animals.
Scroll it up, please. We can't see it on our screen.
Okay, let me bring this on up here.
Yep, that's where you're at. And
It's not time to bring the animals.
oh,
So water the sheep and then go put them out to pasture. And they said, we cannot do it until all the flocks have been gathered together. They roll the stone away from the opening of the well, and that's when we water the sheep. While he was still speaking with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep because she took care of them. When Yaakov saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his... Huh?
and I was the same. Continue.
Bad Shane. Shane on you. Anyway, when Yaakov saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's daughter, and the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother, Yaakov went up and rolled the stone away from the opening of the well and watered the flock of Laban, his mother's brother. Yaakov kissed Rachel, and the Hebrew word for kiss is sak. That's correct. He socked her right out there in the middle of the field. He kissed Rachel and he wept aloud, and Yaakov told Rachel that he was her father's relative and that he was Rivka's son, and she ran over and told her father. When Laban heard the news of Yaakov, his sister's son, he ran to meet him, hugged him, and socked him right there in the middle of the field. He brought him to his house, and Yaakov told Laban that all that had happened, and Laban said to him, "You are indeed my own flesh and blood." And after Yaakov had stayed with him for a whole month, Laban said to him, "Why should you work for me for nothing? Just because you are my relative, tell me how much I should pay and pay you." And now Laban had two daughters. The name of the older was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah's eyes were weak, but Rachel's was good looking with beautiful features. Now, that's what Shane would like to find. So, anyway, where are we? Leah's eyes were weak, but Rachel's was good looking and beautiful features. Yaakov had fallen in love with Rachel and said, I will work for you 7 years in exchange for Rachel, your younger daughter. Laban answered, better that I give her to you than someone else. Stay with me. So he lied to him right there. So Yaakov worked 7 years for Rachel, and it seemed only a few days to him because he was so much in love with her. Yaakov said to Laban, give me my wife since my time is finished so that I can start living with her. Laban gathered all the men of the place and gave a banquet. In the evening, he took Leah, his daughter, and brought her to Yaakov. Wait a minute. He took who? Rachel, his daughter? No, it says Leah.
Leah, the older one.
And brought her to Yaakov, and he went in and slept with her. Now, why would this next part be so? Laban also gave his slave girl Zilpah to his daughter Leah as a slave girl. In the morning, Yaakov saw that he was with Leah. And he said to Laban, what kind of thing is this that you have done to me? Didn't I work for you for Rachel? Why have you deceived me? Oy, that's why Jews do not make the bride be veiled until the wedding. Because they want to know that they've got who they believe they've got. And they don't want no more Lavans doing these things to our Jewish people. I mean, this is the source for that custom, that they will not, the women do not veil their face today before the wedding because that's just forbidden because of this thing that happened with Laban. What kind of thing is this that you've done to me? Didn't I work for you for Rachel? Why have you deceived me? Laban answered, in our place it isn't how it's done. To give the younger daughter before the firstborn. Finish the marriage week of this one, and we'll give you the other one also in exchange for the work you will do for me during another 7 years. Yaakov agreed to do this, so he finished her week, and Laban gave him his daughter Rachel as wife. Laban also gave his daughter Rachel, his slave girl Bilhah, as her slave girl. Not only did Yaakov go in and sleep with Rachel, but he also loved Rachel more than Leah. And then he served Laban another 7 years. Yahweh saw that Leah was unloved, so he made her fertile, while Rachel remained childless. Leah conceived and gave birth to a son, whom she named Reuben, to see a son. For she said, "It is because Yahweh has seen how humiliated I have been, but now my husband will love me." And she conceived again and gave birth to a son and said, "It is because Yahweh has heard that I am unloved, therefore he has given me this son also." So she named him Shimon, of hearing, and God has heard. One more time she conceived and had a son, and she said, "Now this time my husband will be joined to me, because I have borne him 3 sons." Therefore she named him Levi, meaning joined. She conceived again and had a son and said, "This time I will praise Yahweh." Therefore she named him Yehudah, which is Yahweh, is to be praised. And then she stopped having children. When Rachel saw that she was not bearing children for Yaakov, she envied her sister and said to Yaakov, "Give me a child, give me children, or I will die." And this made Yaakov angry at Rachel. He says, "Am I in God's place? Is he the one who is denying you children?" She said, "Here is my maid, Bilhah. Go sleep with her and let her give birth to a child. And and that will be laid on my knees, so that I, through her too, can build a family." So she gave him Bilhah, her slave girl, as a wife. And Yaakov went in and slept with her. Bilhah conceived and bore Yaakov a son. Rachel said, "God has judged in my favor. Indeed, he has heard me and given me a son." Therefore she called him Dan. He judged. He judged.
Watch this. Dan, he judged.
Uh-huh.
Below, look at the next one that comes up.
Bilhah.
He judged my wrestling.
Yeah. Bilhah, Rachel's slave girl, conceived again and bore Yaakov a second son. Rachel said, "I have wrestled mightily with my sister and won, and called him Naphtali, my wrestling."
Yeah, and you get where this is going. I was wanted to told you about this 3 years ago when I caught this, and I was like, funny Lord. My wrestling. Yeah, no, literally, God's going to end up judging his wrestling.
So this is still Bilhah through Rachel, her slave girl. Okay, verse 9, and when Leah saw that she had stopped having children, she took Zilpah, her slave girl, and gave her to Yaakov as his wife. Zilpah, Leah's slave girl, bore Yaakov a son, and Leah said, "Good fortune has come," calling him Gad, means good fortune.
Apparently.
He gads. Zilpah, Leah's slave girl, bore Yaakov a second son, and Leah said, "How happy am I? And women will say, I am happy." And she called him Asher, which means happy. But it's also the name of a pagan deity, but she didn't name him for that. She named him for the term happy, because she's happy. She had a son. During the wheat harvest season, Reuben went out and found mandrakes in the field and brought them to his mother Leah. Rachel said to Leah, "Please give me some of your son's mandrakes so that I can be fertile." She answered, "Isn't it enough that you have taken away my husband? Do you have to take my son's mandrakes too?" Rachel said, "Very well. In exchange for your son's mandrakes, sleep with him tonight." When Yaakov came from the field in the evening, Leah went out to meet him and said, You have to come and sleep with me, because I've hired you with my son's mandrakes.
How do you think you would have felt?
So Yaakov slept with her that night, and God listened to Leah, and she conceived and bore Yaakov a fifth son. Leah said, "God has given me my hire because I gave my slave girl to my husband." So she called him Issachar, hired or reward. Leah conceived again and bore a sixth son to Yaakov. Leah said, God has given me a wonderful gift. Now at last my husband will live with me, since I have borne him 6 sons. And she called his name Zebulun, living together. So he was anticipating living with her husband. After this, the slave girl, she gave birth to a slave girl.
She gave birth to a daughter.
Birth to a daughter, right. She gave birth to a daughter and named her Dinah. Dinah means controversy over rights.
Wow.
So then God took Rachel, heeded her prayer, and made her fertile. Verse 23, and she conceived and had a son and said, God has taken away my disgrace. She called him Yosef, may he add, saying, may Adonai add to me another son. Yeah. And then after Rachel had given birth to Joseph, Yaakov said to Laban, send me on my way so that I can return to my own place, to my own country. Let me take my wives. I think that thing went. Where did it go? Oh, that's it. Somehow or another jumped up on me. So Yaakov slept with her that night, and God listened. Okay, Leah conceived again. And then after this, she gave birth to a daughter named her Dinah. Then God took note of Rachel, heeded her prayer, and made her fertile. So she conceived and had a son, and said, God has taken away my disgrace. She called his name Yosef. After Rachel, man, this went up several pages. I don't know how it did that. After Rachel had given birth to Yosef, Yaakov said unto Laban, send me on my way so I can return. This is where we were when it jumped. Let me take my, it did it again.
Wow.
Rebuke that interference.
Wow.
I will, let me go back down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. God heeded her prayer, made her fertile. She conceived and said, God has taken, that's 24.
Yeah, we were here.
After Rachel had given birth to Joseph, he said, send me on my way so I can return to my own place, to my own country. Verse 26, chapter 30, verse 26.
Okay, here we go.
We're going to fix that right now.
Rabbi, I think it's because it's the end of that chapter.
Okay. We'll just open up the other PC Study Bible again and we'll continue. Dun 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 dun.
We were just barely.
Chapter 30,
Yeah,
Genesis.
barely halfway into that thing.
Okay.
The controversy.
Then Rachel, she bore no children to Jacob and envied Rachel, her sister, and said, I was going to go into the to the complete Jewish Bible here. Give me children or I'll die.
Skip down.
How far down?
26. A bit more. There you go.
Yeah, 25.
Yeah.
Rachel had given birth to Joseph.
Yep. The one and only.
Yaakov said to Laban, send me on my way. Can y'all read that okay on the screen, or does it need to be a little bigger?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
Fine.
Send me on my way so I can return to my own place and to my own country. Let me take my wives for whom I have served you and my children, and let me go.
Isn't that what Joseph let? Anyway, Moses is right. Let my people go.
Yeah. So Laban answered him, if you regard me favorably, please listen. I have observed the signs that Yahweh has blessed me on account of you. Name your wages, he said, and I will pay them. Yaakov replied, you know how faithfully I have served you and how your livestock have prospered under my care. The few you had before I came have increased substantially. Yahweh has blessed you wherever I went. But now, when will I provide for my own household? Laban said, what should I give you? Nothing, answered Yaakov. Just do this one thing for me. Once more I will pasture your flock and take care of it. It will also go through the flock and pick out every speckled, spotted, or brown sheep and every speckled or spotted or goat, and these of their offspring will be my wages. I will let my integrity stand as a witness against me in the future. When you come to look over the animals consisting of my wages, every goat that isn't speckled or spotted and every sheep that isn't brown will count as stolen by me. Laban replied, as you have said, so be it. That day, Laban removed the male goats that were streaked or spotted, and all the female goats that were speckled or spotted, and every one with white on it, and all the brown sheep, turned them over to his sons. And he put 3 days' distance between himself and Yaakov fed the rest of Laban's flocks. So Laban removed all the male goats that were streaked or spotted or all those things. And then he put all of his flocks 3 days' journey between Yaakov and Laban. Yaakov took fresh cut branches of poplar, almond, plane trees, and made white streaks on them by peeling off the bark. Then he set the rods that he had peeled upright in the watering troughs, so that the animals would see them and when they came to drink. And since they bred when they came to drink, the animals mated in the side of the rods, gave birth to streaked and speckled and spotted young. Yaakov divided the lambs and the animals mate with the streaked and the brown in the flock of Laban. He also he had his animals mate with the streaked and brown in flock of Laban, and he also kept his own livestock separate, did not leave them mixed with Laban's flock. So wherever the hardier animals came to heat, Yaakov would set up rods in the watering troughs so that the animals would see them and conceive in front of them. But he didn't set up the rods in front of the weaker animals. Thus the more feeble were Laban's and the stronger Yaakov's. In this way, the man became very rich and had large flocks along with male and female slaves, camels and donkeys. Now this is where scientists learn to use selective breeding for getting the characteristics that they wanted to come forth in the animals. They learned it from Yaakov. He did it. He didn't set it.
How did he know that? Was just God just put that into his head?
Yeah. But he didn't set up the rods in front of the weaker animals.
Wow.
In this way, the man became very rich. When he heard that what Laban's sons were saying, Yaakov has taken away everything our father once had. It is from what used to belong to our father that he has gotten so rich. He also saw that Laban regarded him differently than before. Yahweh said to Yaakov, return to the land of your ancestors, go to your kinsmen, I will be with you. So Yaakov sent for Rachel, Leah, and had them come to the field where his flock was. And he said to them, see, by the way your father looks at and feels differently towards me than before, but the God of my father has been with me. You know that I have served your father with all of my strength. And your father was belittled and has belittled me, changed my wages 10 times, but God did not allow him to do any damage. If he said the speckled ones will be your wages, then all the animals gave birth to speckled young. If he said the streaked will be your wages, then all the animals gave birth to streaked young. This is how God has taken away your father's animals and given them to me. Once, when the animals were mating, I had a dream. I looked up, and there in front of me was the male goats, which mated with females, were streaked, speckled, and mottled. And then, in a dream, the angel of God said to me, Yaakov. I replied, Hineni, here I am. He continued, raise your eyes now and look at the male goats mating with the females are streaked, speckled, and mottled. I have seen everything Lavan has been doing to you. I am the God of Bethel, where you anointed the standing stone with oil, where you vowed your vow to me. Now get up and get out of this land and return to the land where you were born. And I think I'm going to go ahead and bring this one to a close. We'll just relate to you the rest of this story here in this parsha, that Yaakov did leave. He snuck out so that Laban wouldn't know that he was leaving. And as they left, Rachel stole one of the idols, or some of his idols. Now, the idols were used for identifying who was the owner of properties. They had an idol a big idol on the, you can't stick it in your pocket, one of those things you'd have to carry, and it'd take about 20 men with a team of oxen and whatnot to haul it. But so this idol was a big idol on the land where the ownership was to be established, and then they would make smaller images like that would be given to the owners so that they could prove they were the owners of the land. And then you could carry those with you and do business that way. So she stole the idols that proved Laban's ownership of that land. And he came after him in a heat and had a little argument with Yaakov. And Yaakov said, well, if you find your possessions in any of our hands, whoever has it will die. And, of course, Rachel had it, but she hid it in a saddle, a camel saddle under her. And she claimed she was in her time of month, menstrual cycle. And so he wouldn't put his hands under there and feel for these idols. And so she got away with it.
Wow.
So anyway, they made a pact between Laban and Jacob. And they agreed not to come against each other.
I think it was also good that both of them defended Yaakov against their dad.
Did what? Defended their dad?
Both sisters
Yeah.
defended Yaakov
Yeah.
over the treatment of him.
Yeah,
Agree
it's
with
being
everything.
stolen from so
Yeah.
many times. I'm sure she heard her ears plenty full about it, because husbands tend to go home and talk to their wives about what they're upset about.
Both of them said the same thing to him. Said, no, our father has stolen from us also. So.
Yeah, Laban has stolen from us our wealth.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess that's it for tonight. I'd like to encourage all of you to come back and visit with us during our Sabbath service. And if you would, if you enjoyed this teaching tonight, if you would send me an email and tell me what it was you liked about it, we'll try to make sure we give you more of what you like, and God is good. Amen.
Amen.
So the only way we have a clue as to whether or not you like it is if you let me know. And email's the easy way to do that. So that's it for tonight. God bless y'all. Hope you come again. And remember that Saturday morning we have our Sabbath service. And I teach a morning class, and it's been pretty good lately. And I hope you can come and watch it. You can go back and see the morning class archives. They're online. And then we'll have our morning service, and I hope you can join us. And it's a wonderful thing to be serving the Lord God Almighty.
Amen.
Hallelujah. Good night, y'all. Lehi.
Well, everyone, we want to thank you for joining us again for this delightful evening of Torah study. We want to hope to see you again this coming Shabbat, that's Saturday morning, for our services, beginning with our 10 a.m. Bible Issues class, followed by our 11 a.m. main service with liturgy, worship, and another teaching by Rabbi David Hall. We hope to see you again. And in the meantime, God bless you and have a safe travels wherever you may go a couple days. And yes, and be sure to thank God more than just the Thanksgiving Day. Yes. Amen. Well, we'll see you again. Shalom, shalom.